After the second film and a massive flop attempt on television with a different cast, there were actually no immediate plans for a third installment, though Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves did remain good friends with the writers. As the years went by, Reeves went on to have a hugely successful acting career on other projects, while Alex Winter focused more on directing. It wasn't until 2005, 14 years since the last movie, when Keanu Reeves was more open to returning to the series, which brought the project to public interest. Unfortunately, George Carlin passed away in 2008, which is when Winter, Reeves and the writing had actually begun. By 2010, they had a script and they wanted to take their time to produce something that was genuine in spirit like the originals, and not just another unnecessary legacy sequel. They wanted something that was actually worth doing. The script was finished by 2011 and Dean Parasot hired to direct the following year. But now came the major issue: getting a studio interested. They much preferred the idea of rebooting the series instead of a sequel. They didn't think the franchise had a big enough fan base for this to work. Boy, were we gonna show them.
Oh, that is such a relief.
By 2014, they were still no nearer to getting the project greenlit, so they reached out to the fans for their voices to be heard. And yeah, we let them know we wanted this to happen. This movie was entirely made by and for the fans. What also seemed to help was the release of John Wick that same year. Keanu Reeves' popularity had been floundering in the past few years, but this movie brought back his appeal, which led to studios now being interested in the Bill and Ted 3 project. But it still didn't seal the deal, as it took more years to actually secure everything in place. Though the group admitted the longer it took to make, the funnier it actually made the story of the film. The plot shows Bill and Ted, now middle-aged, who have just spent their entire lives banking on them becoming this iconic band, but still having no luck. Their wives have become estranged to them, they have no jobs, and they're about to give up, before Rufus' daughter comes back from the future to inform them that one day they will release a song and that will unite the entire planet and save world peace. But currently, as they fail to meet the prophecy, the entire world's reality is crumbling and they have 77 minutes, so real time, to come up with this song and save the world.
Reality will collapse, and time and space will cease to exist.
It's such a ridiculous setup, but it's so Bill and Ted, I love it. Missy is even back, now marrying Ted's younger brother Deacon. Ew.
This happy event would seem to make Deacon his own father-in-law, and Ted his own uncle.
Not to mention making my dad his own son.
But let's just see if Bill and Ted are as funny as always. Oh no. I must admit, it is pretty weird seeing guys this age still saying dude. It does take some getting used to. And you may be wondering what the hell happened, because the last movie ended with them having boys, but now they've got daughters. Don't worry, they do explain it.
You remember when you used to call them Little Bill, Little Ted?
We thought it was cute, Gramps.
I have to say, considering Keanu has done a million movies between Bogus Journey and this, he slips back into the role really well. And Alex Winter is tremendous. They've still not grown up and are still basically attached at the hip, which the princesses are struggling to come to terms with. And you do feel really bad for the duo. They've been struggling for 25 years and feel washed up, like Alex Winter's career. I do have to ask though how this futuristic space place looks better than in Attack of the Clones. This is Bill and Ted! But the effects have definitely come a long way. They never outright point out that Rufus has died, but they do have a nice tribute to him. Originally, they were going to time travel back to the Circle K scene in the first film to get advice from him using CGI, but this was cut for time. And yeah, you'd be entering Terminator Genesis territory with that one. But tell me it's not amazing to hear some of these lines again.
Be excellent to each other.
Party on, dudes.
The charm is still there. It is so much fun. And the fact that this movie only exists because of the fans and because the cast wanted it to. I mean, Keanu didn't have to come back to do this, but his love for this character, their love for this series made it happen, and it makes it that more wonderful to watch.
Why can't we just go to the future when we have written it?
And take it from ourselves.
Won't that be stealing?
How is that stealing? If we're stealing it from ourselves, dude.
But the movie has such a massive missed opportunity. They have to come up with the best song in the world, and they don't have a cameo from Tenacious D. It's right there! Their daughters rush through time to grab musical icons to join their band as well. They get Jimi Hendrix, Louis Armstrong, they meet Dave Grohl, Mozart, Ling Lun, who was actually a man in real life but they changed to female to make it more diverse and to add to the joke that the movies aren't historically accurate. I'll allow it. But how the hell would these dumbasses even know who Ling Lun actually is? They even get Kid Cudi. What the hell? But no Tenacious D, not even a mention. I'd allow it if they just have a tiny scene where one of them calls up Jack Black and he tells them to go fuck themselves. But it's never even mentioned. It's so obvious.
Sometimes things don't make sense.
But Jesus, they visit their future selves to get the song and they've lost their wives and kids. This is meant to be a happy Bill and Ted film. But the future believes killing them off will somehow save the world. I don't know. So they sent a killer robot called Dennis after them.
Dennis McCoy.
It's more like Electro. The daughters are great in this. They do impressions of their dads, but they also bring a sense of their own personality forward. Keanu and Alex admitted there's no plans for a fourth film right now, but they are open to it if the fans want it. Though the writers considered a spin-off based on their daughters Billy and Thea, so who knows? But how the hell are they so clever?
Well, seems to me your classical tautological causal circuit.
I don't know. Seems like textbook entanglement to me.
I must say, your understanding of our dire circumstance, most impressive.
Have you seen their dads? The humour is still on point as they all happily discuss time travel right in front of their marriage therapist.
Ted, I told you Dave Grohl came back this week.
Totally thought he came back next week.
How would you mess that up if you time travel?
Ted, they're right. They're us. They remember everything we're gonna do. That means we gotta do something we can't possibly remember.
What? Yeah, they put buckets on their heads so they don't see or remember what they did, and it somehow works. I have to say, Jimi Hendrix also doesn't seem to question the fact that he's time traveling either. He just rolls with it. Then they apparently get on steroids whilst in prison. But they also have one of the greatest fourth wall breaks I have ever heard.
But watch this, sometimes things don't make sense till the end of the story.
So?
Maybe we gotta go all the way to the end to find out, Ted.
They meet their older dying selves and somehow they make this moment both hilarious and really heart-wrenching at the same time. How the hell did they do that?
I just want to say thank you, Bill. For all the times you've been there for me.
I feel like I never really knew you, Ted.
Then Dennis, after all this build-up, suddenly has a change of heart. It turns out he killed everyone, so they return to hell, which looks awesome. I love that they've combined elements from both original films. But how has William Sadler barely aged in the last 25 years? The thing is, it's great seeing death again, and it is very funny, but it just drags. It turns out he joined the band, but then ruined it, got kicked out, tried to use their name and got sued, so now he hates them, but they have to apologize so he can bring them back to life, and it's just putting everything on hold. Get back to the plot, considering they're on a time limit. Historical figures and landmarks start to appear across the world as they're losing the fabric of reality, which is such a cool concept. The movie is also incredibly fast-paced, which I love. It just keeps moving and you can barely breathe. The princesses are completely pointless. You can tell they had nothing for them to do. They rush through time to try to find a timeline where they were actually happy with the guys, and then after all of that,
We realized we're happiest in this reality.
that served a lot to the plot. But after all of this, the band still sucks. Of course, it turns out the daughters are the answer, and they rock the world to save reality. It's such a great scene. Kind of ruined with them returning instruments through time, which I don't quite get the point of. But oh well, the rest of the ending is shit.
And so, it wasn't so much the song that made the difference.
It was everyone playing it together.
And it worked.
And that's it! Although the after credits scene almost makes up for it.
Dude, are you dead yet?
Bill and Ted 3 is one of the rare instances of a legacy sequel being totally excellent. Some parts could have been trimmed or were pointless, but overall it has bodacious music, hilarious comedy, the charm is totally non-heinous, and it's one of the few legacies that totally works. And if you haven't seen it yet, you should totally check it out, dudes!